When we talk about attraction, most people think it's about how you look, how you dress, or how confident you appear. But here's the truth: most people miss desire is born from emotion, not logic. It's not about convincing someone you're attractive. It's about making them feel something when they're with you. And the most powerful tool you have to do that is your words. Words are not just sounds strung together. They're emotional triggers. When you use the right words, you're not just talking. You're creating an experience inside his mind that makes him see you differently, feel differently, and ultimately want you more. Think about it. Every time you've been drawn to someone, it wasn't because they gave you a list of reasons to like them. It was because of how they made you feel in their presence. Maybe they made you laugh. Maybe they made you feel appreciated. Or maybe they said something so unique it stuck in your head all night. That's the power of words. They bypass logic and tap straight into emotion. Most people use words just to exchange information. They talk about their day, their job, what they had for lunch, or the movie they just watched. And while there's nothing wrong with that, those conversations rarely stir desire. They're surface level. They don't move the needle emotionally. But when you understand that words can paint pictures, create emotional spikes, and trigger feelings he wasn't expecting, you unlock a level of attraction that feels almost magnetic. Think of words like colors on a canvas. You can paint something flat and dull, or you can create an image so vivid it pulls someone in and makes them want more. Here's what happens when you use words that are emotionally charged. He stops listening with just his ears and starts feeling with his body. For example, if someone tells you, "That was fun," it lands flat. But if they say, "That moment gave me butterflies, I couldn't stop smiling," suddenly you're not just hearing words, you're feeling them. You're transported into the experience. That's the difference between information and emotion. Desire lives in the small shifts of feeling, in the moments when something pierces through the ordinary and feels electric. If you can use your words to take a simple situation and add layers of feeling to it, you'll stand out instantly. Instead of saying, "I like spending time with you," imagine saying, "There's something about the way you make even the most boring days feel exciting." One is polite, the other creates an emotional reaction. It makes him feel like he has a unique effect on you, and that thought lights him up from the inside. What's important to understand is that people rarely remember the details of what you say, but they always remember how you made them feel. If your words trigger joy, excitement, warmth, or curiosity, he'll replay those moments in his head long after you've stopped talking. And that replay is what builds desire. Think of it like planting seeds. Every time you use words that spark emotion, you're planting little reminders of how good he feels around you. And the more those seeds grow, the more he craves being near you. So when you're choosing what to say, don't think in terms of information, think in terms of experience. Ask yourself, how do I want him to feel in this moment? Do you want him to feel desired, admired, challenged, or intrigued? Then choose words that create that feeling. Because once you understand that your words aren't just filling silence, they're shaping his emotional reality, you realize you have far more power than you ever imagined. Most people think compliments are just nice words you throw out to make someone feel good. But the truth is, most compliments are so generic they barely leave an impact. If you tell someone, "You look nice," or "You're handsome," it's polite, but it doesn't stir anything deep inside of them. Why? Because they've heard it 100 times before. It washes over them, and within seconds, it's forgotten. If you want to unlock real desire, you have to go beyond the surface. You have to use words that make him feel seen in a way no one else sees him. That's when a compliment stops being noise and becomes unforgettable. Every man craves recognition, not just for how he looks, but for who he is. His character, his quirks, the little details he doesn't think anyone notices. Those are the things that, when highlighted, spark a surge of emotion in him. Imagine you're talking to a guy who's used to being called good looking. Instead of repeating what every stranger could say, what if you said, "You have this calm way of making everyone feel comfortable when you walk into a room"? That doesn't just flatter him, it gives him identity. It tells him you've seen something unique in him, and suddenly, you're not just another person paying a compliment, you're someone who noticed what others overlook. Specificity is the secret. When you tell him something precise, he believes you more. "You're funny" is nice, but "the way you told that story made me laugh so hard I couldn't catch my breath" lands deeper. It's not vague praise, it's evidence. He feels like he created a real emotional impact on you, and that becomes addictive. Think about it. When someone says you're beautiful, it's flattering, but when they say, "I love the way your eyes light up when you talk about something you care about," you feel touched. You feel understood. That's exactly what he will feel when you give a compliment that digs beneath the surface. And here's the interesting part. When you compliment a man on qualities that aren't immediately obvious, you awaken something inside him. Maybe it's his sense of humor, his work ethic, his protectiveness, his creativity, or even the way he listens. Many men don't hear these kinds of compliments often, and when you're the one to give them, you instantly stand out. You're not just admiring what's on the outside, you're validating who he is at his core. And that validation creates desire because it feels rare, intimate, and meaningful. Play with contrast in your words. Sometimes a compliment can be mixed with a playful twist that makes it memorable. Saying, "You're way more charming than I expected you to be," makes him smile because it flatters while teasing. It feels light, fun, and different from the robotic, "You're so charming." This balance of sincerity and playfulness keeps him engaged and craving more of your attention. But remember, the key is authenticity. Forced compliments or exaggerated praise can backfire because they feel fake. The reason a compliment builds desire is because it feels real, like you genuinely noticed something special about him. When you're present, paying attention to the little details, you'll naturally find things worth complimenting. And when you do, speak them with sincerity. That's when your words land with impact. Ultimately, desire grows when someone feels deeply valued. If your compliments highlight what makes him uniquely him, you become the person who reflects back to him his best qualities. He begins to associate you with the best version of himself, and that is powerful. Because long after the conversation ends, he's going to remember the way you made him feel, like he wasn't just attractive, but extraordinary. There's a reason why playful teasing has always been one of the most effective ways to spark chemistry. At its core, attraction thrives on tension, that little spark of unpredictability that keeps two people leaning in closer, wanting to know what happens next. If everything you say to him is safe, predictable, or overly serious, the interaction can quickly start to feel flat. But when you introduce a touch of playfulness, a light tease that carries a smile behind it, you create an energy that is both exciting and magnetic. It shifts the interaction from ordinary to memorable, and it makes him crave more of your attention because he never quite knows what you'll say next. Teasing works because it awakens a sense of challenge, and challenge fuels desire. When you lightly tease a man about something, his stubbornness, his competitive streak, or even the way he tries too hard to look cool, you're telling him that you see him, but you're not afraid to play with him a little. That creates a dynamic where he feels the need to rise to the occasion, to impress you, to match your energy. It's not about being mean or critical. It's about keeping the tone light and playful like a dance. Think of it as a gentle push and pull. Too much sweetness without play can feel bland. Too much sarcasm without warmth can feel cold. But the right balance, that creates electricity. What makes teasing so powerful is that it naturally builds tension, and tension is the heartbeat of desire. Imagine he's bragging about beating his friends at a game. Instead of just saying, "That's cool," you could smile and say, "Oh really?" I bet you only won because they let you. That little jab, delivered with warmth, instantly makes the moment more fun. He laughs, he wants to defend himself, and suddenly you've created a dynamic where the two of you are engaged in a playful back and forth. That's the kind of interaction that lingers in his mind because it wasn't just a conversation, it was an experience. Another reason teasing works is because it introduces mystery. When you tease someone, you're not laying all your cards on the table. You're showing affection, but you're also holding back just enough to make him wonder what you're really feeling. That mix of interest and uncertainty keeps him on his toes. It makes him think about you after the moment has passed, replaying your words, smiling at how you challenged him, and wondering what you'll say next time. And the more he thinks about you, the more desire grows. It's also worth noting that teasing creates intimacy without forcing vulnerability too quickly. Sometimes people rush into deep conversations, which can feel heavy, but a playful tease builds connection in a way that feels safe and fun. It allows both of you to drop your guard, laugh together, and build comfort while still keeping an edge of attraction. It's like a spark that lights the fire before the deeper layers of connection unfold. The secret, of course, is intention. Teasing should never be about putting him down or making him feel small. It should always carry a tone of affection, the kind of energy that says, I'm enjoying this and I like having fun with you. When you get that balance right, your words become irresistible because they stir both his emotions and his curiosity. He feels both comfortable and excited around you, which is the perfect recipe for desire. When you master the art of playful teasing, you stop being predictable. You become the person who can take any ordinary moment and turn it into something charged with energy. And that's what he'll crave more than anything. The way you make the space between you feel alive, like there's always something new waiting to happen when you're around. That spark born from just a few playful words is what makes desire ignite instantly and keeps it burning. One of the most powerful ways words can create desire is by painting a picture of what could be, not just what is. Attraction isn't only about the present moment, it's also about possibility. When someone begins to imagine a future with you, even in the smallest way, their emotions deepen. This is where future-paced language comes in. It's not about locking someone into a commitment or rushing them into declarations. It's about weaving little threads of imagination that make him see himself with you beyond this exact moment. When you do this subtly, it makes him invest emotionally without even realizing it, because his mind starts to connect you with something bigger, something ongoing. Think of the difference between casual talk and language that builds connection. If you're discussing a place you'd like to travel, the casual version might be, I've always wanted to go to Italy. That's a simple fact. But if you say, can you imagine how much fun it would be to get lost in those little Italian streets and eat way too much gelato? Suddenly, it's not just about you. You've planted him in that scene with you. Even if you didn't mention his name, the phrasing invites him to picture himself alongside you. That tiny mental shift changes everything, because once he imagines it, he starts to feel it, and feelings are the bridge to desire. What makes this so powerful is that people are naturally drawn toward those who make them feel expansive, those who open doors to experiences joy and adventure. When your words make him picture fun, intimacy, or shared moments, you're no longer just someone he's talking to. You're someone who represents excitement and possibility. The mind doesn't easily separate imagination from reality, so when he visualizes moments with you, his emotions respond as if those moments are already happening. That emotional response creates a sense of closeness and attachment that builds attraction almost effortlessly. Future pacing doesn't have to be grand or serious. It can be light, fun, even playful. Saying something like, if you keep making me laugh like this, I'm going to need you around all the time, plants a thought in his mind of being in your life more often, but without pressure. It feels natural, it feels teasing, but underneath, it's tying you to his future in a way that feels good to him. These little seeds are powerful because they don't demand anything, yet they create a sense of momentum in the relationship. Another layer to this is using shared language that creates a sense of os, words like or, together, subtly reinforce connection. For instance, if you're both talking about your love for food, saying, "We'd be dangerous in a kitchen together," feels playful, but it also aligns the two of you as a pair, even just in that moment. Those small verbal cues build a rhythm of togetherness, which over time makes him associate you with partnership and closeness. And here's the beauty of it. Future pacing isn't about manipulation. It's not about tricking him into imagining a relationship. It's about naturally expressing excitement and possibility in a way that feels authentic to you. If you're genuinely enthusiastic about something, sharing it in a way that invites him into the picture shows him that being with you means stepping into a life filled with energy and connection. That's irresistible because everyone wants to feel like their world becomes richer when they're with someone. The more you use this kind of language, the more he'll feel a pull toward you without being able to fully explain why. He'll just know that talking to you makes him feel good, it makes him imagine, it makes him dream. And those feelings are addictive because once someone connects you with possibility and excitement, they don't just desire your company, they begin to crave it. There's something magnetic about vulnerability when it's expressed in the right way. We live in a world where most people wear masks, polished, guarded, and careful not to show too much. That's why when someone opens up just a little, it feels rare, it feels intimate. And intimacy is what transforms attraction from being shallow and fleeting into something deeper and lasting. The right words, spoken with honesty, can cut through the noise and make him feel like he's been let into a part of you that others don't get to see. That's when connection turns into desire, because people don't just crave beauty or charm, they crave closeness. When you use your words to share something vulnerable, you're sending a powerful message you trust him, and trust is irresistible. It makes him feel chosen, like he's special enough to be allowed into your inner world. That feeling triggers a strong emotional bond because it's human nature to value what feels exclusive. If you tell him something about your past that shaped you or admit to a small insecurity with a smile, it doesn't make you weaker in his eyes, it makes you real. And real is unforgettable. The beauty of vulnerability is that it doesn't have to be dramatic. It can be as simple as saying, "I get nervous in big groups, but I always feel more comfortable when I have someone I can trust nearby." That single sentence does three things. It shows honesty, it creates relatability, and it subtly tells him that his presence makes you feel safe. That's powerful. He doesn't just hear your words, he feels needed, important, and protected. Those emotions fuel attraction in a way no surface-level compliment ever could. Another way vulnerability builds desire is through contrast. If you're usually confident, playful, and light, then revealing a softer or more uncertain side surprises him. That surprise captures his attention because it shows depth. Desire thrives on depth, the sense that there are more layers to discover, more pieces of you that he hasn't seen yet. When he realizes you're not just strong or just fun, but a blend of strength and softness, confidence and humility, it keeps him intrigued. He'll want to keep peeling back the layers, and that curiosity draws him closer. It's also worth noting that vulnerability invites reciprocity. When you open up, even in small ways, it signals to him that it's safe for him to do the same. That's when conversations shift from small talk to something more meaningful. He starts to share more about himself, his dreams, his fears, the things he doesn't usually tell others. That mutual exchange builds intimacy at a pace that feels natural and exciting. And once someone shares a part of themselves with you, they become more invested because we naturally value the people with whom we share our truths. The key, though, is balance. Vulnerability is powerful when it's sprinkled in, not poured out all at once. Oversharing too quickly can overwhelm, while withholding everything keeps you at arm's length. The sweet spot is allowing just enough of your truth to slip through that he feels drawn in, curious and connected, while still leaving space for more to be revealed later. That's what makes the interaction feel both safe and thrilling at the same time. When you master the art of expressing vulnerability through your words, you create a safe space that feels rare in today's world. He won't just desire you because of how you look or how fun you are. He'll desire you because of how you make him feel in his heart. And once he feels that deep emotional pull, it doesn't fade. It grows, because true desire isn't built on surface attraction. It's built on the kind of intimacy that only vulnerability can unlock. One of the most overlooked elements of desire is the way curiosity and scarcity work together in language. Human beings are naturally drawn to what feels rare, to what they can't fully have yet, to the little mysteries that leave them wanting more. If everything about you is obvious from the start, your feelings, your intentions, your availability, then there's nothing left for him to uncover, no reason for him to lean in. But when your words carry a hint of mystery, when you reveal just enough to spark his interest, but hold back enough to keep him guessing, you create a pull that is almost irresistible. Desire lives in that space between what he knows and what he doesn't know yet. The most powerful way to use this is through suggestion rather than explanation. Instead of spelling everything out, leave pieces unsaid. For example, if he asks about your weekend and you smile and say, "It was interesting, I'll tell you about it another time," you've immediately created intrigue. You've given him just enough to imagine, but not enough to satisfy his curiosity. That gap makes him want to know more, and more importantly, it makes him want to be around you to find out. Every unanswered question becomes a reason for him to chase. Scarcity works the same way. When your words show that your time, your energy, and your attention are valuable, he begins to see you as someone he has to earn, not someone who is always available on demand. That doesn't mean playing games or pretending to be busy when you're not. It means expressing your priorities clearly and showing that you live a full, rich life beyond him. A simple phrase like, "I'd love to, but I already promised myself I'd have a quiet night to recharge," communicates self-respect, independence, and value. You're not rejecting him. You're reminding him that being with you is a privilege, not a guarantee. That sense of scarcity makes every interaction with you more meaningful. Curiosity and scarcity also build anticipation, and anticipation is the fuel of desire. When you hint at something exciting without revealing it all, you give him something to look forward to. Imagine telling him, "I have this ridiculous story that I'll share with you when we're not surrounded by people." Instantly, he's hooked. He's now carrying around that little thread of curiosity, waiting for the moment he gets to hear it. That waiting heightens his emotional investment because it makes being with you feel like an unfolding journey rather than a finished book. It's also important to understand that curiosity keeps the energy between you alive. When he feels like there's always more to discover about you, another layer, another thought, another story, he stays engaged. Predictability might feel safe, but it doesn't ignite desire. A little unpredictability, communicated through playful hints and subtle scarcity, makes him lean forward, keeps him attentive, and ensures that his attraction doesn't fade. At the same time, curiosity and scarcity only work if they're paired with warmth. If you hold back too much or seem cold, it creates distance instead of desire. The magic lies in combining openness with just enough restraint. You give him glimpses of your world, but you never hand over the entire map. You let him feel your interest, but you don't make him the center of your universe. That balance creates the perfect dynamic. He feels wanted, but he also feels challenged to earn more of you. When you use your words to spark curiosity and show scarcity, you position yourself as someone who is both magnetic and valuable. He doesn't just enjoy being around you, he feels compelled to pursue you, to unlock more of the mystery you represent. And that pursuit is what keeps desire alive. Because at the end of the day, desire isn't about giving everything away instantly. It's about creating a rhythm of revelation where each moment with you leaves him wanting the next. That hunger, born from just a few well-chosen words, is what makes you unforgettable.